So I usually do my homework. I find somebody who knows somebody or something. They could give me some information, like who is it? Like who is he? And Frenchie, they got me the tape. They got me the tape of his mother's house, where his mom's work at. You know what I'm saying? The other cribs, the studios, stuff like that.
That's the Cali tape.
Right.
Okay.
So this is the daughter of the ruler of Dubai, and apparently she uses controversial rule.
The child of 50 Cent, it's just not coming out of the French Montana. The man has a troll tied up and ready to shoot if the name of a French person appears on the blogs. But this isn't just another minor disagreement. It sparked a much longer discussion. French Montana appears to be avoiding more than just the problems facing the business. There might be something more terrifying coming. The gold-coated, sparkling cage of Dubai's elite. The headlines appear to be a huge flex on paper. The Princess of Dubai and French Montana got engaged. It has a staggering $18 billion in value. The uninformed fan would believe that French Montana suddenly became a world-famous kingpin after being a young Kubo artist. But if you look past that glitter, that brilliance quickly becomes cluttered. It is said that French's purported escape plan has nothing to do with love. It's a matter of survival. French urgently needed a backup plan since Diddler was still dancing about federal smoke. And there were whispers that the authorities were collecting information on everyone connected to the notorious bad boy freak-offs. The safest option also appeared to be Dubai. However, the kicker is this. Even in paradise, there are shadows. Individuals who are familiar with Dubai's internal workings will tell you the truth. Yes, the wealth seems to go on and on. The towers glitter, and the automobiles sparkle with jewels. However, there have long been claims that some of those same royals had insatiable appetites that money couldn't satisfy. It's crazy. Hollywood scandals become Disney Channel reruns as a result of this catastrophe. There are rumors of Western superstars being flown out for reasons too soiled to mention and princes picking up attractive men. Such rumors did not appear overnight. French, who is notorious for chasing bags, hosting lavish parties, and forming alliances with influential individuals to acquire the next big thing, is suddenly seen carrying a princess and a $7 billion safety net. The math seems to be a bit too accurate. Not that nobody doubts his ability to love her. Most people agree that the primary motivation was survival. Here, 50 Cent shade has the biggest impact. There's more to his statement than that gaudy engagement diamond when he declares, "French got bought." It has to do with the notion that the French did not avoid the game. All he did was exchange one master for another. He ended up in a game that seemed too similar after running away from Diddler's storm. Ironically, they continue to submit to wealthy, powerful, and unaccountable men. Hello to all of you. Salutations. Indeed, the French believed that Dubai would be the ideal destination for his departure. He did not get away with it, though, if half of the tales about those princes are accurate. He went directly into Dubai's flaming stove after leaving the villain's fire. This is where the twist is. The Dubai monarchy plays for keeps in contrast to the feds, who finally come to settlements or move on. As a result, the purported $7 billion escape plan seems more like a glittering trap than a way out. French may have purchased some time for himself, but at what cost? Now travel back in time, since comprehending French's decision to move to Dubai necessitates first comprehending how he initially came to be involved with the bad boys. You see, French Montana didn't simply pop it, complete the deal, and go on. No, sis. Around the time of its signing, the treaty always had a disagreeable odor. Supporters are also beginning to doubt the past as a result of all the crap that has been thrown at Diddler over the past 2 years. This is the thing that people overlook. French wasn't some desperate mixtape rookie pleading for a chance while he was dealing. He had choices. They were being circled by Rock Nation. MG and Rick Ross were really intrigued. Kanye's crew also made a lot of attempts at flirting. French chooses to sit with Diddler, the label notorious for dubious contracts, intricate arrangements, and those eyebrow-raising extra criteria out of all those tables. Therefore, why would a wealthy man decide to join with the game's most contentious player? Since Bad Boy was more than just a business, it was claimed that the deal had little to do with music. It was an entire way of life. And that way of life was the true money for certain artists. According to reports, Diddler did more than simply give French a check. The parties, the women, the wild freak-offs, and the play nice and you'll get rewarded scenarios were all made possible by him.
Yeah. A friend of mine is an air hostess, and her friend was on a flight with her, and her friend was eating like a very specific diet. So apparently the thing is, it's actually a control thing. I don't know if I can speak about sheikhs.
No, speak.
So these guys actually pay these women to hold a strict diet for like 2 weeks so that they can know that they are in complete control of what that woman is putting into her body, and the girl is shit on them.
Wow.
So it's the girls aren't even getting shit on, the girls are shit on these guys, because then the guys feel like it's sick, like it's a control thing.
Since then, admirers have been mocking it. First, French acknowledged that he chose Puff despite accepting less cash up front than either Ross or Jay was prepared to offer. Second, the internet immediately clocked it whenever French people arrived, stumbling out of those notorious homes looking half alive. Between 2016 and 2019, people began to unearth images and videos of French people who were, to put it simply, worn out. Because it always coincided with those crazy weekends when Puff was honoring him. After Diddler was imprisoned in 2024, producers and former colleagues started disclosing what was actually required to seal agreements behind those closed doors, which only made the story more sour. According to one producer, Diddler blackballed him when he declined to participate in a freak-off. "Oh, so you stayed and took the deal," is the typical reaction when people think about French's quick ascent. We know what that entails. Is there currently a smoking gun? What is the French name? Not at all. However, things are becoming unmanageable. After allegedly spending the entire night together, Diddler offered French his own Kyrock French vanilla flavor the very next day. Then there is the birthday video that went viral. Diddler in a robe, French shirtless, and French himself confessing that he wanted the huge bag. The only man in the company brave enough to give it to Puff both looked dubious. It didn't look like a typical label signing from the street. He appeared to be a man who was prepared to invest his own funds in order to advance his career. Some believe he is running the same play in Dubai just because of that. People presume you'll do it again, but with a bigger bag and a new master, once you've demonstrated that you'll sacrifice your honor for a chance. The rabbit hole gets extremely deep at this point.
And I'm sure there were some other ones also.
Yeah. I came to Steve Rifkin when I had Chopper Down. I walked in the office, it was him and Gabi. And Gabi was the manager. I was like, "Yo, Steve, give me $200,000. Let me go make music." You know what I'm saying? Just let me. Steve was like, "Nah, I'll give it to you.
Never got it.
Never got it. I dropped.
Which is funny because Gabi's the president of SRC. Steve is like the CEO, but
so I don't know what type of
but Steve makes the final call.
Yeah. So I asked for $200,000. You know what I'm saying?
French Montana appears at Paris Fashion Week in the middle of 2024, purportedly flaunting a fiancé and new clothes. Shara is not your usual fiancé. She's a princess with close ties to one of Dubai's royal families. That's not your typical Bronx romance, baby. It's a clever move in chess. Because the feds were gathering evidence against Diddler in the meantime. Suddenly, everyone surrounding Diddler became radioactive, including the freak-off tapes, the trafficking rumors, and the money laundering traces. Artists, producers, assistants, and even casual acquaintances were being subpoenaed or questioned. He was French and more than a casual acquaintance. He resembled Diddler almost exactly. The endless cousins, the champagne endorsements, the birthday trips. Prosecutors had to include French's name if they desired a solid case. What will be his next play then? He doesn't simply leave town. He joins one of the most affluent families in the Middle East. The Sheikh's family is reportedly valued at approximately $18 billion. That's oil money for generations. That amount of money is insignificant compared to $7 billion. In addition, there are additional considerations besides financial ones. It's defense. Power passports of this kind are new. It's living somewhere where people from other places aren't permitted to interfere with their problems. The streets are thick with rumors that French is more focused on survival than love. It is emphasized how quickly that engagement took place, how it suited the American heat, and that French people have been stranded in Dubai far more often than in New York or Los Angeles. To admirers, It appears to be a romantic fairy tale gone wrong. To critics, however, it screams an escape plan encased in wedding vows and wrapped in Cartier. Remember the aesthetics too. French appears sharper, cleaner, and nearly reborn each time he posts a picture of himself with his princess. However, the comments remain random. You exchange diddler for Dubai or worse, dude. Here's the gag. So you'd better hope those sheikhs don't treat you the same way Puff did. The French believe that by escaping to Dubai, he acquired a reputation. You can't always escape a fire, though, as anyone familiar with the true power dynamics of Middle Eastern nobility can tell you. You simply enter a larger, more seductive one. It's unlikely that French will pay attention to this section. Freedom does not always mean running from Uncle Sam to the United Arab Emirates. Sometimes it just indicates that you signed a completely different type of contract. When you think of Dubai, you see skyscrapers, Lambo bosses, and pet tigers relaxing on yachts. However, for years, the murmurs behind the curtain have been unsightly. After the tax-free glamour, influencers enter and observe rural events where attendees are treated more like props than like real people. Apparently, both men and women, as some royals do not consider foreigners to be on an equal footing. They consider them to be toys. And this is the reality. You don't set the rules when you're broke in comparison to their billions. They do. Now compare Shikamar's family's $18 billion fortune to that of French Montana. In that room, he is not wealthy. He is decorative. To make matters worse, he has no political influence. Conversely, Shikimara is the daughter of one of the most influential autocrats in contemporary times. French is well known enough to add glitz, but if they decide he's just another ornament, he's not strong enough to defend himself. Internet users commented right away that the move doesn't appear to be an escape from D at all. New handlers appear to be being upgraded. The only difference is that lavish homes in Dubai have taken the place of Miami's freak-offs. Furthermore, the French family he lately joined is already the subject of an international investigation. Do you recall Shikimar's 2024 divorce, which was extensively posted on Instagram? When she ended her relationship with him, everyone was stunned. 3 words about her hubby: "I'm going to divorce you." In royal circles, such public disobedience was practically unheard of. It's commendable, but it also draws attention to the mayhem that may come with royal life. The flaws in that fairy tale image only become more apparent when you take into account her family, such as Princess Latifa's abortive escape attempt. The fairy tale was immediately wrecked by the probable kidnapping of Princess Hessa, which was purportedly planned by their own father, the absolute ruler of Dubai and French's new father-in-law. Because freedom isn't guaranteed when that much power chooses to work against you. It's gone. This is why it suddenly makes perfect sense for the internet to mention this Frenchman's $7 billion escape plan. Get residency, marry into absurd wealth, and hide behind a royal shield if the federal government ever pursues you. The concept is great. On the social level, though, it's comparable to déjà vu. French has been derided as a boy's toy for years. There are more claims than ever that he recently traded one sugar daddy for a whole dynasty of them, in addition to the shirtless lunches, birthday serenades, and Sayak incentives. The irony hurts, Habibus. We French were positioned as the gritty underdog in hip-hop. Coke boys' pride, Bronx hustle, and Moroccan grit. However, the royal family of Dubai doesn't perform like Bad Boy Records. You are not better than others. You don't make them look terrible. Furthermore, you never outgrow your usefulness. French did not stray from a velvet leash, if even a small portion of those tales are accurate. He simply locked himself in a cage made of gold. Therefore, even though he may have avoided difficulties in the United States, he may be sitting on the stove in Dubai. Here's the joke. 50 Cent is the one who is loudest in introducing French into this mess. But take some time to think about that. What if 50 isn't a joke? What if he is genuinely attempting to alert him? You know, people in their 50s have that big brother vibe. The type who wants to watch you eat but grills you hard. For years, 50 has disparaged French, calling him a D leftover and washed. Perhaps, however, he knows the trap. The French are falling into a trap that doesn't resemble chains, but it smells exactly like the velvet cages that Dubai residents talk about. But flip it for a second. If this isn't even a French trap, what will happen? Damn, bro, is what we say out here. You traded your soul for safety. Perhaps, however, this is just what he desired. Some individuals, some people want comfort, while others long for freedom. Furthermore, a Frenchman may not even consider himself a prisoner in a palace. He may believe that he has been selected. After hustling mixtapes, the Bronx lad eventually gained gold-plated security. We may refer to it as hell. However, if there is air conditioning and a driver available, it might be heaven for him. That explains why humor from the 1950s is so powerful, since truth is a part of their hearts. 50s self-reliance, sense of self, and ability to transform street toughness into corporate success were the foundations of his entire reputation. The French, however, might have turned survival into servitude. But who's actually winning, you ask? The men drinking tea behind the palace's walls, untouchable, unaffected by scandal, and insured for $7 billion, or the men stubbornly defending his rap credibility? It's a mess. It's ironic. And that's the problem the French are facing right now. He may feel like royalty to himself, but to us, he's just property. It could be the final twist. French Montana may be grinning the entire time, despite 50 Cent's constant dragging of him, as this may have been the original plan. Kindly select like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications if you found this analysis interesting. There will be a ton more articles soon.